Hey everybody, welcome back to G&G Ministries. Today we are making a video about how we knew each other was the one.
How did you know I was the one?
Can't say yet.
Can't say yet.
We gotta tell some stories first.
Okay, that's fine with me. Anyways, thank you guys for supporting this channel. We're excited to make another video. We've been uploading like crazy every Tuesday, every Friday. And although we're a little bit behind getting these videos out, you guys keep helping with the video suggestions and just supporting us, so we appreciate y'all. But we're going to jump into this. So, Gabby, how did you know I was the one?
So, in the moment, I feel like I had to walk through a lot of things in order to even know Dylan was the one. I believe the Lord gave me a very simple answer, but I'm not going to tell you all right away. I feel like we have to go in a little bit of the background story about how we both thought it was somebody else, both of us, because it's easy to get deceived in this area. There's a lot of believers, especially young people, that this happens to.
What she's basically saying is she wants to make the video longer and then save the juicy part for the end. So yeah, I would say a big part of a lot of testimonies when it comes to two people coming together, it usually does involve someone else, sadly. And it's because when people find the Lord, I think it's easy to get excited that, oh, now this person that I'm going to be with also has the Lord. And so when you start looking around, you start seeing all these women or men, and they look like everything that you would want. Mm-hmm. And even if they are following the Lord, still God has that special somebody for you. Like He has someone specific that He knows that you're supposed to be with. It might not be the person like that you're staring at across the room. It could totally be that person that you never even acknowledged in the first place. And honestly, that was kind of, I can't really speak for her, but I can remember moments where I thought Gabby was this beautiful girl, but at the same time, I just never envisioned us together. And that was in the start of this whole journey, because we went to this ministry school and I was a part of 3, she was part of 2 of them. And so we were around each other, but we didn't know all this was going to happen. And so we both fell into that situation where we thought other believers were our wife. Or husband.
Our wife.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I would say super common when Dylan's saying is somebody could think just because they're a godly person that's their spouse. That's 100% not true. Never will be, in my opinion. I don't believe biblically speaking. But then also there's the other side of people that are believers that go for someone that's totally not even godly, or they go with someone that professes to be a Christian, but you can tell by the way they live their life they're really not. And that's really dangerous because we're called to be equally yoked. And so for me, some of the things that I walked through before Dylan was there was this person that I was convinced of for a long time, and I didn't pursue them, but I got these dreams, I got these visions, I thought I was getting these words, and I let those lead me rather than the peace. And that's super important.
Yeah, and for me, I would say it was just a strong desire that was in my heart, even before I started doing ministry. I really wanted somebody in my life to marry. And even when I was living in sin in the world and I didn't know Jesus, it was still I had some sort of morals. I knew whoever I was supposed to be with, the right thing to do is actually marry this person. And my mindset was always, it's not this one-time thing. No, I actually want to be with this person. So although it didn't work out in the world, I knew at least when I was born again, it's still the right thing to do. God has a specific person for you. Dating isn't biblical. You're not supposed to test things out, or if you don't like one thing about somebody, you just give up on them, because even in marriage, you'll find things that you have to grow in. And so I just knew that I wanted somebody to run this race with. And, but even I was still dying to some things, like sinful nature, where all I wanted was love. And it was easy to, we talked about, to spot things that looked godly. And there was a few situations where some women thought I was their husband, which should have been a huge sign already, because that's just not how it works. Just being honest, it's the man always pursues the woman. And so I had all these women who were pursuing me, and that's not how it's done. That's not biblical. And so I thought somebody was my wife, and they were very nice. They were a nice person. I don't. It's weird to say this all on camera, but like they were a really nice person, and they had a great family. I wasn't discerning everything that God was trying to show me, basically, and so, but I learned a lesson through that, and right after that is when the whole thing with Gabby happened. So.
Exactly. I would say for me, it was such a mess. Like, there were several situations that happened, and I won't get into all the details unless y'all want to hear all about it, because it's a long story. But there was one person that, like, I really, 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 really thought and was convinced it was my husband. There had been thoughts here and there when, like, meeting people, like, oh, is this my husband? But it wasn't this thing of, like, I put my heart there and I, like, put my mind there if this is it. Because I had feared the Lord, and just like Dylan's saying, like, I always knew, even before really living for Him, that I only wanted to be with one person. I wasn't about to date around. And so these thoughts were always in my mind of, okay, Lord, who's it going to be? Because I've never been with somebody. And so those thoughts were just kind of annoying. But there was this one person, and like I said earlier, there just wasn't this peace. And then there was this other situation where people thought I was their wife, a couple people. No peace about that either. And so it happened with Dylan was, like, when we were in the school together, like, the first time I met him, there was absolutely not even a single desire. Like, at all. Like, I'm not joking. Like, no desire whatsoever. And it's the first time that I ever felt that change of having zero desire to having a lot of desire. And I'm like, whoa, what is this? Like, I didn't even know that happened. I mean, I had heard stories about that happening, but I thought, oh, maybe they're exaggerating. But it completely happened with me. I had these desires, but I wasn't fully aware. Like, I wasn't fully sure what God was going to do and, like, if this was definitely Him. Because I had a fear of being wrong after, like, me being wrong for a long time and then other people being wrong about me and all this stuff that was going on. And eventually the Lord changed me overnight. He gave me a dream, but that's not even what really sold it for me. It was that the Lord gave me a peace surpassing all understanding. And so that's kind of the thing that I rule by now is if people are wondering, like, is this the person God has for me? You're just going to know that you know that you know. Because I'm telling you, one night God changed me and I just knew. And nothing could convince me. Like, it looked like it wasn't going to happen for various reasons at all. Like, at all. He was actually still with the other person.
Yeah.
And, like, all this stuff. And I wasn't going to pursue him. Like, I didn't make it happen on my own whatsoever. I was acting like nothing happened at all. But I would say that's the for sure sign. If you don't know that you know, I would really, really, really question and really pray and fast and ask if it's God, because I don't think that would be the case.
Yeah, if it's this whole stressful process where there's questioning and doubt taking place, then that should already tell you right there. And like she's saying, you would just know. And so, yeah, I was in this other situation. I had no idea all that was going on. I didn't know God was revealing all that to her because I was in my own thing. You know, my eyes were fixed on everything in my life happening, plus this person that I thought was my wife. And so if my situation was a little bit different, how did I know that Gabby was my wife? Well, before I was born again, I already experienced a worldly relationship. It was my longest relationship that I've ever been in. It was like 3 years. And it wasn't good. I mean, just being honest, it wasn't godly. There wasn't equally yoked. And so, oh man, they're probably watching this. Anyways, basically there was just worldly feelings that we should not feel in a godly marriage. So I shouldn't have any, oh, what's Gabby doing? What, like, she didn't text me back at this time. Like, what is she doing? Like, that type of stuff. That should not exist within a marriage. And so with this person that I thought was my wife, I was experiencing those worldly things. Like, what's this person doing that they're not responding to me? Or, even some jealousy and stuff like that. And yeah, I could say with us, that's a whole nother video, but I did experience a little jealousy in the beginning. And it was really hard, really hard. But, all that stuff now, I can say 100%, I don't struggle with that stuff anymore. Like, worldly feelings that you have towards your wife or husband. Like, I can name tons of them. I just know those are the big ones where you're just constantly worried about what the other person's doing. And so that's what it was like with this person that I thought was my wife, but I was so blinded because
You just wanted
I
it.
wanted a wife. And so I talked to a brother of mine. He gave me some really good advice. And he basically just confirmed that it's not the Lord. I didn't want to hurt this person's feelings. And so I asked the Lord that she would just have no desire for me. She wouldn't really communicate with me. She eventually ended up telling me, like, it wasn't of the Lord. But it was mutual. Like, I wasn't mad at her. I wasn't hurt. And praise God that she wasn't hurt or upset or anything. And then, you know, her family's amazing people, and I didn't want that to be ruined either. And so, amen to that. But right after that, literally right after that, like maybe 2-3 days later, Gabby and I start talking. God starts connecting all the dots. And I just knew, because one, how fast it was, like with Gabby, like immediately after. And just the fact that I never thought I could get Gabby. And then plus I wasn't experiencing all these worldly things.
There was like such a unity too.
Yeah.
Like so many unified desires. And I'm telling you, the desires he had, I never had before. Like never. Because I was all for living a certain lifestyle, and he was like the opposite lifestyle. And God changed that. It had nothing to, well, it had to do with him, I'm sure. But it wasn't him like making me biased, because the Lord already changed it right beforehand. And just like certain like dreams and visions we were getting were like the same thing. And it was just crazy.
So there's a lot more to our story, obviously. We haven't really had a full-on testimony video. And so if you want that, comment down below. And eventually, we're going to make that happen. It's just right now, like even to have this setup where we're sitting right now, you don't even want to know what the background looks like. Like, it's a mess just to get our... Because we're still like, we're not fully rooted yet. We know where we're supposed to be. We're in North Carolina, but God's still moving behind the scenes, and you guys don't get to see all that, but we're human too. And just because we're following the Lord doesn't mean we still have this flesh, you know? And so we're working on our own walk with the Lord, and obviously our marriage and what God's doing. And so we definitely want to do that big testimony video, or even we can do a live stream and talk about it. But let us know if you want that. Thank you for watching this video. Is that the end? Do you want to end? Okay.
That's the end.
I didn't know if she was done. So leave a like on this video, subscribe, comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one.